Shalom. My name is Moreh Ishiyah Yisrael from the House of Israel in Cincinnati, Ohio, 2330 Kemper Lane, bringing to you in 40 minutes or less. In 40 minutes or less, I will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the word of Yahweh. Who is this Yahweh? Yahweh is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein. Yahweh is the Elohim of our fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yisrael, whom you may know as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yahweh is our judge. Yahweh is our lawgiver. Yahweh is our king, who will save us. Today's program, we will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt. Why 40 minutes? Little do our people know that Yahweh had a secret test of 40 in the scriptures, a test that will see if you will keep his laws and if you would believe in him. And so this program and all the other programs that we will bring to you will be 40 minutes or less. And you will see why Yahweh would test his people in this way. And I may add, in these 40 minutes, we will test you once again, Yahweh's people, to see if you will believe in Yahweh and follow him. The first scripture that I would like you to see so you can know that I'm telling you the truth is in the book of Deuteronomy, the 25th chapter. And let us turn there in Deuteronomy 25. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 25th chapter, the very first verse, this is what it says. If there be a controversy between men, and they come unto judgment, that the judges may judge them, then they shall justify the righteous and condemn the wicked. And it shall be, if the wicked man be worthy to be beaten, that the judges cause him to lie down and to be beaten before his face, according to his fault, by a certain number. 40 stripes he may give him, and not exceed. Least if he should exceed and beat him above these with many stripes, then thy brother should sing vile unto thee. And oftentimes we see these debates, we see these discussions, and they're much longer than 40 minutes. But I'm going to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can prove your point in 40 minutes or less. Since this judgment was set by Yahweh, it is this judgment we will follow. Also, in the book of Hosea, the 4th chapter. And then we will get right into proving our point. But that is the first point. Deuteronomy 25:1. That's the first point. But in the book of Hosea, the 4th chapter, and we just read if there's a controversy between men. But here you will see, what if the controversy is between you and the Creator himself? And I'm here to tell you, Yahweh has a controversy with his people, with his servants, and the inhabitants of the earth. This is what it says. In Hosea, the 4th chapter, the 1st verse, hear the word of Yahweh, ye children of Israel. For Yahweh have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of Elohim in the land. And so our whole discussion will be about the truth, the mercy, and the knowledge of Elohim, that all of Israel should be speaking together in oneness. Now you've seen the law. While we're doing this, you've seen why only 40 minutes. Well, now let us see the test that Yahweh will have his servants, his patriarchs, as well as his people undertake in the scriptures. The first person, the first witness is Noah in the book of Genesis. Genesis, the 7th chapter. Who is this Noah? Noah is one of 3 righteous men in the scriptures. Not just 3 righteous men, but 3 of the most righteous men in the scriptures. He's one of them. And this is what it says concerning this Noah. Watch what it says in Genesis, the 7th chapter, the 4th verse. The Creator will even put this righteous man under test. Genesis, the 7th chapter, the 4th verse. For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And every living substance that I've made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. And Noah did according to all that Yahweh commanded him. Because at this time, Noah was commanded to bring everything into the ark that Yahweh commanded him. Furthermore, in this same Genesis, the 7th chapter, watch what it says in the 11th and 12th verse. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened, and the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And why 40 days? Why 40 nights? What is this purpose? What is this meaning? And why would Yahweh choose 40? The same reason why I will prove the word of Yahweh in 40 minutes. In the last scripture in this Genesis, the 7th chapter, the 17th verse, watch what it says. And the flood was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bear up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. That's how much the water prevailed in these 40 days and 40 nights, lifted up the ark even above the earth. And you might ask yourself, well, what kind of test is this? Well, in these 40 days and 40 nights, Noah could have did anything. He could have made any decision. He could have said, we got to save ourselves. Yahweh is not with us. We must do such and such. Look out the window. Do something. As many of our people will try to do. But no, Noah stood fast on the word of Yahweh. And watch what it says in the book of Genesis, the 8th chapter. And we're going to read the 6th verse. And this is how you know Noah passed this test. For it reads and says, and it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. And you notice he waited till the 40 days and the 40 nights had expired. Then he opened up the window. Then he began to see if the earth was dry. Since Yahweh said he will cause it to rain 40 days and 40 nights. This was a test. And this is a law. Who is our second witness? Watch our second witness, who is none other than Moshe. Now, who is this Moshe? Who is this Moses? Moses is the lawgiver. He wrote this story in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And this was said about Moses in the book of Exodus, the 24th chapter. And I pray that you follow along with us so that you can see what I'm telling you is the truth. And all it's going to take is 40 minutes or less. We're not going to take up your whole night. We're not going to take up all your time. We're going to get right to the point. In the book of Exodus 24, this is what it says. Starting at the 12th verse. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, come up to me in the mount, be there. And I will give thee tables of stones and a law, and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moshe rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moshe went up into the mount of Elohim, and he said unto the elders, tarry ye here for us, until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. And Moshe went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount, and the splendor of Yahweh abode upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the 7th day he called unto Moshe out of the midst of the cloud. And the sight of the splendor of Yahweh was like a devouring fire on the top of the mountain in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moshe went into the midst of the cloud, got him up into the mount, and Moshe was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. Again, you're going to have to ask yourself, why 40 days? Why 40 nights? so that you can see the judgment of Yahweh. Moses was there. But the question is, what happened after the 40 days and 40 nights? And watch what happened in the book of Exodus 32. In the book of Exodus, the 32nd chapter, you will see this divine secret test of Yahweh played out. In the book of Exodus, the 32nd chapter, the very first verse. This is what it says. And when the people saw that Moshe delayed to come down out of the mount, and he was just there 40 days or 40 nights, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us Elohim, which shall go before us. For as for this Moshe, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we want not what is become of him. In other words, after the 40 days, after the 40 nights, the people began to act a fool. And why? Because all it takes, Yahweh knows how long it takes for us to either do the right thing or for us to do the wrong thing. And he's given us 40 days, 40 nights. And as we can see, after the 40 days, after the 40 nights, our people began to sin. Moshe called it a great sin. And it was, because we made a golden idol. Witness number 3 is manna that the Almighty gave us, bread from heaven. Now, what will we do with this bread from heaven? Will we celebrate it? Will we love it? No. Let me show you what we did as a result of the manna, which is witness number 3 in the book of Deuteronomy, the 8th chapter. Because all these scriptures are explaining, giving you purpose behind the truth of us coming before you 40 minutes or less. It don't take long to prove the word of Yahweh. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 8th chapter. And we're going to start reading at the 3rd verse. And watch what this says. And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man does not live by bread only, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh do man live. And of course, how long did Yahweh feed us manna? For 40 years. The manna came in the 2nd month after coming out of Egypt in our 1st year. And then 40 years later, on the 16th, the manna ceased. And you'll read that in the book of Joshua. But let me finish out in Deuteronomy, the 8th chapter, concerning this manna in the 17th verse. So you can understand why this was a test. And thou say in thy heart, my power or make that the 16th verse. Deuteronomy 8 and 16. Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, mean test thee, to do thee good at the latter end. And that's all Yahweh wanted to do. He wanted to test you, which means prove you with something you never seen and something you never knew. And the question is, will you believe Yahweh? In other words, your teachers taught you things in the past. But now you're learning new things, but will you believe it? So-and-so didn't teach this, so-and-so didn't talk about this, so I'm not going to believe it. Your fathers didn't even know this matter. But do you believe it? Witness number 4 is the children of Israel, the people of Israel, Yisrael. Watch this in the book of Numbers, the 13th chapter. And this is our 4th witness. All we got is 3 more. Numbers, the 13th chapter. And we're going to read the 25th verse. And watch what it says. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. Why 40? Why was the manna 40 years? Why did Moses go on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights? Why was the rain on the earth 40 days and 40 nights? What is with this 40? Well, we read the law. It's judgment. And that's all it takes to test our people. Here it is. They searched the land for 40 days and 40 nights, or 40 days, that they bring back a good report. No, they didn't. And as a result of not bringing back this good report, although they seen good and great things, this is what happened. In the book of Numbers, the 14th chapter, we will read what happened after 40 days of searching the land. In the book of Numbers 14, this is what it says. And we're going to read the 33rd and the 34th verse. And your children shall wander in the wilderness 40 years and bear your whoredoms until your carcasses be wasted in the wilderness. After the number of days in which ye search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year, shall ye bear your iniquities, even 40 years, and ye shall know my breach of promise. And why? Instead of coming back with a good report, we came back with an evil report. Because that's all it takes. It's 40. That's Yahweh's divine test. The 5th witness is in the book of 1 Samuel, the 17th chapter. Let us turn there. 1 Samuel 17. And this is what it says. In the book of 1 Samuel 17 And we're going to read verse 16. And this is what it says. And the Philistine drew near morning and evening and presented himself 40 days. Why 40 days? Are you getting the picture now? Are you understanding what we're telling you? This is our fifth witness. And let me tell you, after 40 days that this Philistine presented himself, you know how many Hebrews got up and said, I will fight this Philistine? None, except for one, and he wasn't even in the army. Matter of fact, he wasn't at the age of a man, which is 20 years old. He was younger than that. He wasn't even supposed to be there. And no one presented themselves before the Philistine for 40 days, morning and evening. So guess what? This young lad did. And who was this young lad? His name was David. And you'll read about this David in the 45th verse of this same 1 Samuel 17. And this is what it says. 1 Samuel 17 and 45. Then said David to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, with a spear, with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. And we know the story. David cut the head off of this big uncircumcised Philistine because he came in the name of Yahweh. And yes, we must do the same. And we will do the same in 40 minutes or less. The sixth witness. I will show you so that you can see what I'm telling you is the truth. 1 Kings, the 19th chapter. In the book of 1 Kings, the 19th chapter, the 7th and 8th verse, this is what it says. And this witness is the prophet Elijah. We brought you Noah. We brought you Moses. We brought you manna. We brought you Israel. We brought you David. And now we will show you this divine test of 40, this secret test of 40 with the prophet Elijah. And make no mistake about it, we all must undergo this test. And we're testing you now. We're going to see if you're going to follow Yahweh or other people. Watch what it says. 1 Kings 19, verse 7. And the angel of Yahweh came again the second time and touched him and said, Arise and eat, because the journey is too great for thee. And he arose and did eat and drink and went in the strength of the meat 40 days and 40 nights unto Horeb, the mount of Elohim. 40 days, 40 nights. In other words, he ate one meal. And this one meal strengthened him 40 days and 40 nights where he didn't eat or drink anything, just like Moses did when he went into the Mount of Yahweh for 40 days and 40 nights. He neither ate or drunk anything. And so did Elijah. And the last witness is not even Hebrews, not even Israel. And watch what they did in the book of Jonah. Jonah, the 3rd chapter. And I love this story in the book of Jonah because this is what our people must learn concerning this test. This test is all about seeing if you're going to do the right thing or not. And all it takes is 40. It might be 40 days, might be 40 years, but it's also maybe 40 minutes. And to me, it don't take long at all. Jonah, the 3rd chapter, and we're going to read the 4th and the 5th verse. And Jonah began to enter into the city a day's journey. And he cried and said, yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. In other words, they shall be destroyed. So the people of Nineveh believed Elohim and proclaimed a fast, put on sackcloth, from the greatest of them even to the least of them. In other words, after 40 days, after 40 nights, this is what Nineveh did. They believed Elohim. And they humbled themselves. And the question for you, as we bring you the word of Yahweh, 40 minutes or less, will you believe in Yahweh, or will you continue to forsake him by listening to things that people cannot prove? Yahweh loves you, and so do I. Shalom.